Ready, Jess?
Yeah.
Congratulations to the quarterfinals. Very solid performance. What were you most pleased about today?
Happy with the way I was able to serve, I think, on some really big key points. Execute my strategy. I've been seeing hitting, moving, I feel like very well this whole tournament. And to be able to keep that up against, such a great player as Maddie and defending champion, was it going to be a lot tougher of a task today, but I think I was still able to do that really well.
Okay, who'd like the first question, please? Yasmin?
Jess, there was a video of you and Maddie just now, sort of like you were on the pull-down bike and you were chatting. What are you talking about after when you've just been on the court? Do you get it completely away from the tennis? Are you talking about the pie, or are you actually talking about the match?
The pie. No, we were talking about a funny moment that we had right before the match when we walked on. And we were just kind of like laughing about it, and we didn't obviously get to talk about it because we were about to play. So she just kind of said, great job, guys. And then she brought up the kind of funny moment and funny conversation that we had. So yeah, that was all.
Next question, Cole.
Hey, Jessica, and this is kind of random, but in the middle of the end of the first set and the second, there was that Aviation show that was going over. Were you briefed about that going into the match?
No, wasn't briefed about it. I did know it was Australia Day, so I think we knew that that's what it was for. That stuff doesn't really bother me, but yeah, we weren't really briefed on it, and I was just like, wow, they're really having a whole show right now, in the middle of the match, in the heat of the moment. So it didn't last very long, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, it was right over the stadium.
Charlie?
Well done. In that period where Madison was kind of coming back into it in the second set, and obviously she's done that quite a bit here the last year or so, what were you kind of telling yourself to stay calm and to stave that off, and not that it was going to be another kind of comeback for her?
Yeah, I think for me it was really important to focus on my serve. It was very tough on that one side, serving into the sun. So, I lost that game, and I was kind of like, you know what, I wasn't trying to get too down on myself. I was just kind of serving into the sun, it's tough. She hit a couple good shots, whatever. Just don't dwell on it that much. But obviously going back to kind of close it out, I needed to not, I needed to really stay focused now that I had a feeling of what it was like to serve into it, maybe what serves that were a little easier to hit. And I think just keep my feet moving, keep my body weight kind of going forward. I think sometimes when you get a little nervous, or, maybe I was playing really well, and sometimes you kind of just relax, and it's hard to do that against someone like Maddie, who can really flip matches really quickly by hitting a couple, big forehands and winners, and all of a sudden, she hits a couple good serves and it's already, back to even. So I just wanted to kind of keep my momentum moving forward, keep everything moving forward, because no matter what happened, that was how I kind of needed to kind of get the momentum back into the match. And that's really all I was focusing on. So I thought I played a couple good points and focused on my serve, and not just my serve, but also serve and first ball, where I thought she was going to return, so I could be ready for that first ball, and not really give her any free points.
Matt?
Hi, Jessica, well done. Does it seem funny to you that, or feel like a long time ago that you were, the player who couldn't get past the quarters in the Grand Slam? Now you're in the quarters. Do you even think about that time anymore?
Not really. I mean, again, that was something I felt like everyone else kind of came up with. I felt like, if I'm making quarters of the slam, that's pretty good. So I never really understood the negativity towards it. Or I guess just the headline of, how did she get past the quarters? I mean, the fact that I'm putting myself in that many positions, I feel like is a feat in itself. So I didn't really quite understand that. But so to me, not really. Being back in a quarter, I think, obviously US Open, I did finals, made semis, and that felt like normal. So to me, it doesn't really feel that much different. I think maybe even now I'm even more comfortable knowing that, I've gotten further. It doesn't feel, I don't know, as big of a deal to be in the quarters, even though that's really good. I don't know. I guess I don't think about it that much.
David? And then Elle? Yeah.
Hi, Jess. You spoke about it a little bit on the court. Just what was your initial reaction to Maddie's offer that if you lost, you'd have to wear the Chiefs jersey?
Yeah, that was bad. Yeah. She was like, mine's worse. I was like, what are you talking about? My family owns the Bills. This team has owned us in the postseason. That absolutely not. by far worse. I saw Eva Jovic in the locker room before I went on, and she was like, if you lose, like, that's way worse wearing the Chiefs jersey. She's like, all she has to do is just, I'm like, yeah, she just has to eat a piece of pie. Like, what, like, is the big deal? So, yeah, I think that was some extra motivation, because that would have been a tough moment for me.
Making this pie, or will you be procuring it from some?
I don't know. I think Jenny said that she's gonna do it with Maddie in Orlando, and so I think one of them, I'm sure it'll be Jenny. I don't think Maddie's going to go out of her way to get this pie or cheese. So I just think it's going to be a Jenny task.
Do you regret the bad rap that this pie has been getting?
You know, I, again, just had this conversation. People eat apples with cheese. It's not that big of a deal. It's definitely not as bad as it sounds. We got up to a bad start because I kind of randomly said it in a recording, and everyone freaked out because someone pulled up a picture, and if you Google it, it looks really bad. And they also Googled it. It looked like it was like a Kraft single piece of cheese. And I was like, okay, no, like, get like a good cheese. Don't put like a Kraft, like the plastic thing, and just put it on there. And like that sounds really bad. So you got to get a good cheese. It's not as bad as everyone, thinks.
Bill?
You've just beaten a friend. You could play another American next. I mean, obviously it's great for you guys that America's having such a good tournament, but I wonder, does it make it harder or easier if you see someone from the same country on the other side of the net, or does it make no difference to you whatsoever?
Honestly, I don't mind like the familiarity of it. I think sometimes it can be tough because you almost know each other too well that it almost is like it's like a weird feeling kind of beating them going to the next round, because there's someone that you know well, that you see all the time, you practice with all the time, maybe you train with them, maybe you live near each other. But at the same time, we're also, I think, used to it no matter where we're from. I mean, we're with each other pretty much every week, traveling a lot on the same flights, eating in the same dining, staying at the hotel a lot. Like, we see each other so much that I think you kind of have that feeling with most of the girls. So it'll be cool to see if, we can have another All-American, showdown. At least one of us will get through, and I think that's great for American tennis. And yeah, it's been pretty crazy how well the women have been doing and how many top-ranked girls there are, and I'm just, happy to be a part of that conversation.
Okay, last one, Charlie.
Jace, you spoke the other day about the kind of entering a flow state when you're playing your best, not dropped a set. How do you rate your level now compared to, I think this is your 9th Grand Slam quarter, something like that? Yeah, where do you see your level at this point compared to, the other times you've got this deep?
I feel like I'm a better, I mean, I don't know, obviously every match, obviously there's some that maybe stood out that you played unbelievable, but I think in general, I feel like I'm a better player right now. I feel like I have so many more tools. I think that, my movement's gotten better. I think my serve is a lot better than it used to be. And that really helped me today. And I think I'm just overall a better player. It doesn't always mean that you're going to win the match, but I do feel like, playing against all these girls with the depth, I think I have a lot more tools to kind of figure out a way to win. And, I've worked really hard on that over the last year, and it's tough balance trying to push yourself, even though you're already doing well. How do you kind of get a little bit better, but not kind of take yourself out of how you play? And I'm just really happy that the work that I've done with my coaches, I really believe in that and what we've done, and to be able to kind of execute that stuff in a Grand Slam, right off the quickly second tournament of the year for me, I think will give me a lot of confidence, not just here, but just going into the year. For me, I've always been the type of player where I get frustrated when I feel like I'm not getting better. And I still think that, at my age, and I've already had a lot of really great results, being 31, I still feel like I'm improving as a player. So that is what gets me the most excited.